But first we sat down with one of the best linebackers to ever put on the purple and gold, Trev Faulk.
Now he's going to run and he's a handful.
Grew up here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Played high school football at Lafayette High School. My coach at Lafayette High was Bobby Green. Coach Green was really like a father figure to me. He was really instrumental in my development, not only as a young athlete, but as a young man. And you know, he was kind of a mentor to me then and is still one to me now.
As a senior, Trev was a member of Atlanta Journal-Constitution's Super Southern 100 and was recruited by Florida, Notre Dame, Texas A&M, but chose to join the Fighting Tiger.
Pass was complete to Pinner, going around the far side, and it was knocked loose, I believe, by Trev Faulk.
Coach Hal Hunter was the guy in charge of recruiting our area, and he did a really good job of recruiting me. I felt like he let me know that LSU wanted me, but he wasn't overly pushy or overly aggressive. He kind of let me control my recruiting process, and if I had any questions or anything like that, he was definitely there to answer them for me.
Jerry Donato was still the head coach for Trev Faulk's freshman year, but after another poor season for the Tigers, the administration decided to make a coaching change.
My freshman year I actually played for Coach Donato, and so you know, he came in. There had kind of been speculation that he was on the hot seat at the beginning of the season, and then you know, we went out and we didn't perform very well that year. We ended up with a 3-8 record, and so at the end of that year, the coaching change was made to Coach Saban, and we didn't know very much about him other than that he had been the head coach at Michigan State, and obviously he came in and did a great job.
And the acquisition of a new football coach brought hope to the LSU community. And this translated to the psychology of the locker room.
Well, I think the biggest difference was just that there wasn't any speculation kind of hanging over our head of, you know, our coach being on the hot seat, which there was my freshman year with Coach Donato. So I think there was just kind of a sense of optimism, a sense of hope there when they brought in the new coach, brought in Coach Saban. And it was not necessarily from us as players, but just from the community. Everybody was kind of trying to get behind the new guy and kind of taking a wait-and-see approach to see what exactly he would do to try to get the program headed back in the right direction.
And Saban's influence on the team made an immediate impact.
My following year, we went 8-4. My sophomore year, we went 8-4. We defeated Georgia Tech in the Peach Bowl, and we had a couple of memorable victories that year as well. We beat, I believe we beat Alabama at home for the first time in maybe 20-something or 30 years. Obviously, we had great coaches, we had good players, and we just believed in the system, believed that what our coaches were telling us was actually what was going to happen. And then once, you know, seeing became believing. Once we actually believed and we saw the results of what happened for us on Saturday nights, and you know, like you said, we developed into a pretty stout defensive unit, and you know, that's carried on up till today. We beat Tennessee that year, and I think they were ranked in the top 5 at the time, and so those were two of the memorable games because I remember, you know, the fans rushing the field after those games. But something that was also very memorable about then that I'll always remember is that after the fans flooded the fields, Coach Saban told us that when we got back to the locker room, he told us that he wanted that to be the last time that our fans rushed the field when we won a game, because he wanted to take our program to a level where people rushed the field, their fans rushed the field when they were able to upset us.
And it would only take Nick Saban 2 seasons to turn the 3-8 team around to become the 2001 SEC champion.
The best team that I was on was our 2001 SEC championship team. We finished the year 10-3. I believe we started the year 4-3. We lost a tough home game to Ole Miss, one that we were all real disappointed about, and then we ended up running off 6 wins in a row, and things kind of fell into place for us to where we were able to control our own destiny to get to the SEC championship game. And we defeated Arkansas late in the year, and then our game, the game that we were supposed to play the week of 9/11, which was the Auburn game, that ended up getting moved to the end of the season. So we defeated Auburn to advance to the SEC championship, and then we beat Tennessee, who was number 2 in the country and was expected to go and play for the national championship in the Rose Bowl. And then we capped the year off in the Sugar Bowl by beating Illinois. So it was a great year.
And 2 years later, the 2003 Tigers, a team I had the pleasure of playing on, was able to win a national championship. But even then we knew that our victory was a result of years and years of hard work.
I think we were just part of the bridge builders, kind of the foundational group. that really was able to kind of take some of the success that Kevin's group had because they had some really good years there before, Coach DiNardo's reign kind of, turned south. And then we were able to kind of capitalize on some of those guys that Coach D had recruited and some of the recruits that Coach Saban had brought in, and just really take the program to a level that it hadn't been to in quite some time. And then from there, like you said, 2 years later, we're right there playing Oklahoma for the national championship.
And Trev's football career wouldn't end in Tiger Stadium. Faulk will go on to play on Sundays for 5 seasons in the NFL.
I played in Arizona for 2 years, and I played for the Rams for 3 years. My best season was probably the 2005 season. I ended up starting, I think, the last 5 or 6 games of that year, as well as maintaining my role on special teams.
But a back injury in the 2006 season would change Trev Faulk's career forever.
Well, really, I'd always come home and kind of try to mentor some kids. That's always kind of something that I, wanted to do or planned on doing. And I would work out with some kids, I would train with some kids, and actually Northside was one of the places that we would come and train. Coach Darrell was gracious enough to allow me to come here and train whenever I was back home in Lafayette during the off season, and ended up mentoring a couple of kids from here. And I had a back injury in 2006 when I was with St. Louis, so while I was sitting out that season, I was at home, and one of the kids that I was mentoring told me that they needed some assistance on their coaching staff, and so I just kind of ended up coming and helping out that year, and just kind of fell in love with doing it. I think really, the game, it has so many parallels just to life, just in terms of, of teamwork and being able to work well with other people to try to accomplish a task, just developing leadership, working hard to achieve goals. Being persevering and overcoming odds, and going out and competing, which are things that you're going to have to do for the rest of your life, and to get into colleges, and then once you're in the college, to go out into the real world, you're going to be competing as businessmen. You'll be competing, for job opportunities and for different things like that. So there's so many parallels that the game carries on into life after it that, it's just been tremendous for me. Some kids that are hungry, that want to be really good football players, that want to have the opportunity to play at the next level, and that really are willing to push hard and to work hard and try to achieve and accomplish the things that they want to accomplish in life. So I think that if they carry that same attitude and those same goals that they have football-wise into the classroom and into every aspect of their lives, then they'll be successful.